Good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Naomi and I am Head of Research here at the Royal Aeronautical Society, and it's my very great pleasure to welcome you all to this IATA-RAeS Workshop on Contrail Management, progressing towards risk-informed decision-making. It's wonderful to see this community come together again after last year's event, which set a great foundation for collaboration and shared understanding on this topic. We hope to continue to build on that over the next couple of days as we continue advancing the conversation around contrails, hearing about the research taking place and the pathways towards effective mitigation. I'm delighted to see you here both in person and online, and I look forward to a productive couple of days. I just have a few housekeeping and logistics notes before we really get started. Regarding Q&A, as this is a hybrid event and we do have a big online audience, we are asking that all attendees submit questions through Slido. For those online, you'll find the link in the chat. And for our in-person audience, you can scan the QR code, which will be up on the side screens at various points during the afternoon. Each session of the workshop has its own area for questions within Slido, so please make sure that you are using the correct one. And where appropriate, if you are asking a question for a particular speaker, please do indicate which speaker you're addressing it to. For those who are here in person, as well as using Slido, we will also have microphones available in the room. Please do wait to have the microphone before asking your questions so that those who are online can hear what you're saying as well. In terms of general housekeeping, all the remaining breaks will be held in the Argyle room, which is where you've just been having your lunch up on the first floor. Event staff are on hand to help. In-person attendees can go to the registration desk just upstairs, and online attendees, please use the chat to speak to the team. We also do have a reception happening at the end of today, which we'd be delighted for our in-person attendees to join us at. And with no further ado, I will now introduce our first speaker of the event. And so I'm delighted to invite up to the stage Hemant Mistry, who is the Director of the Net Zero Transition at IATA.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Naomi. And welcome to everybody to this second edition of the joint IATA Royal Aeronautical Society workshop on contrails. So we're very pleased that so many of you can attend in person and online, and therefore around the world as well. And we expect, I think, around 230 delegates overall, so which is really great. And it shows, it's testament to the importance of this topic and the willingness to share critical research, to debate the findings, and to try and find solutions. And it's so important. And more importantly, to understand how we together, as a science-based community, can discuss ways in which we can reduce the impact of contrails. Everyone needs to be at the table, sharing different insights, challenging each other, because that's the best way forward, and that's the way we're going to best way make success. Now, before we go into the sessions, I think it's important to highlight that there's clearly potential opportunity for the industry to reduce its overall environmental impact. And this has been highlighted by various studies, the ICCT, various other recent publications as well. It's not news to any of us here in the room. But it's also important to remember that mitigation solutions for contrails are not ready for scaled implementation yet. So what that means is clearly there's a need for further research and further trials. And I know so many of you are involved in those efforts, and we really appreciate all the hard work. Because before committing or jumping into anything prematurely, we have to be confident that there is a scientifically robust and economically viable pathway for mitigation. And then that can be supported with the right enabling policies and regulations. Otherwise, there's a risk that we may do more harm than good, and nobody wants that, of course. Let me just draw a parallel with what we're seeing in terms of our decarbonisation efforts. Today, under the mandates for SAF, and many of you are familiar with the mandates, the price airlines pay for SAF is twice as much as what airlines would pay if they bought the SAF on the market. So think about the impact in terms of the lost opportunity for CO2 abatement. What I'm saying is, airlines, for the price they pay, they could have put twice as much SAF in the system. That's not really a good way of moving forward. And also, we're seeing a drop down in terms of investments from the big suppliers for SAF facilities. And that's not surprising, actually, because, of course, they can rely on the mandates. But that's not going to create a liquid market. So voluntary demand is dropping. And as we all know, we have a new fire now as well, because on the onset of the crisis in the Middle East, we've seen jet fuel prices almost double in recent days. Jet fuel prices for Northwest Europe will be published at 8 o'clock, so we'll see what happens. But you've seen the price of crude, Brent, go up, $108 I saw today. So we're not expecting good news, unfortunately. Now let me just turn this to point. Well, what's the issue here? Well, the issue is, of course, there is a big risk in terms of the availability of crude and refined product flows around the world. We have work on a global energy system. The UK relies 2/3 of its jet fuel on imports. So it's going to be significantly impacted. So when we look at SAF and when we look at renewable solutions and all the work we're doing, we need to think more holistically, because there's also issues and potential here for energy security which need to be looked at. So it shouldn't just be left to the airlines to shoulder the financial burden. There is a bigger picture here we need to address, including the co-benefits for using SAF for non-CO2 and for contrails as well. We should try to avoid jumping into quick fix solutions, be they technical or policy. Instead, we should work through the problems, try and find solutions for the aviation business as a whole. This is more difficult, but it has longevity. And it's also sustainable. And I mean from the financial and the environmental sense. So it's important we step through this. And this is why we think it's so vitally important that we're able to work with yourselves from the academic community, from the scientific community, to really work out how best we can find these solutions for the industry, then work with the policymakers to help enable workable solutions across the industry, not the other way around. So in closing, I think, before I hand over to Nellie to give you an outline of the program, what I wanted to say was, while we might see changes in terms of politics, and we might even see some reprioritization of some of our efforts, it can only be temporary. And we have to continue steadfast, because the science won't change. And the importance of finding solutions, workable solutions for the industry, will stay the same. In fact, it will just become more urgent. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'd like to do is thank you all for attending. Looking forward to your continuation of your ongoing efforts. Enjoy the conference. I think it's very appropriately named conference itself. We hear Contrail Management, the progress towards risk-informed decision-making. I think it's a very, very important title and where we are in terms of this subject. And wishing you all the best and continued contributions to addressing aviation's environmental impact. Thank you.